right, welcome in. It is a Monday edition of Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao and Mo Patton here with you on this fine Monday, as it is fine snow outside. And
I guess it depends on your definition of fine as to what
well,
today is.
you know, I've got power. I'll take it. I mean,
How is that an issue down there? Has that been
it
an issue?
has been in the past. I am told there was a transformer replaced nearby that should
Address
decrease the
that
number
issue?
of power outages in situations such as this. So, and I'm ironically the landlord who lives, a little bit who lives in front of us
Hmm?
bought a generator because of the issues, and then they fixed the issue.
Timing is indeed everything, isn't it?
Most of the time. That's unfortunate for him. Worked out for us. But yeah, it is Monday, and man, as you all know, if you're in Middle Tennessee or anywhere south of us, really,
I think
the
if you're in
snow is
Tennessee,
coming.
period,
Yeah, anywhere in Tennessee, and then south to at least through the shoals, dealing with a lot of the powdery white substance known as snow. If for those of you who are unaware, any transplants from out west or Texas who may not know, this is what we get once a year, and this is unusual. This is a little heavier than we're
and
used
there's
to.
a lot of it.
Yeah,
I mean,
this
I
is
had to go out last night to roll our trash up just on the off chance that they came on Monday as they are scheduled to. And I mean, I left some deep footprints.
yeah, we're pushing 5 to 6 inches right
Hmm.
now on the porch. Now I don't know what on the ground. I don't know because it was pretty cold though before it snowed, so I feel like it's probably accumulated very well on the ground. So I don't know. It's a lot of snow. I don't want to deal with it. That's why I'm wearing my Hawaiian Bucky shirt today. We're gonna manifest some warmth, and
Hawaiian Bucky's is in and of itself kind of paradoxical.
it is, but it's
I mean,
hilarious.
there's not Bucky's in Hawaii, is there?
I know. It
I
would
mean,
take up
there's
a
no
whole
inter.
island.
Are there any interstates in Hawaii?
Be really hard to drive interstate from Hawaii.
Yeah, yeah. So,
It's a heck of a bridge. No, I mean, I don't guess I mean, it's a Hawaiian shirt, but it's tropical. They don't have any in the Keys yet either, but I got a feeling there might be one soon.
one would
There is
think.
one. The first one ever built outside of Texas, though, was in the Gulf Shores area. So just off of I-10. So maybe that's where this came from. I just know that we were having a luau, and so this was the best shirt available for said event.
Hmm.
We've got a good show, Mo. It's going to be a really good show today because we have two fantastic guests. Grant McCauley, timing is everything, as the Braves make a big signing today. Grant will join us
Today?
from 9. Yeah, they signed him officially today. The
Okay.
signing
All right.
period didn't open until today.
Okay, got you.
Had a ceremony and everything. They put him in a jersey with the number 13 on it.
Hmm.
Yeah, which is
Okay.
the Ronnie effect, I guess.
Mhm.
but we'll talk with Grant McCauley from 92.9 The Game over in Atlanta. We'll also talk with Tony SIRACUSA from Last Word on College Football, as Florida State becomes the first university to be sanctioned for NIL violations. And I don't think there is any surprise that Florida State would be the first, considering their past 4 weeks crusade against the NCAA. So we'll talk with
Well,
Tony.
their crusade wasn't really against the NCAA, though, was it? I mean,
Not really. No, they were, but
Yeah.
and yet
Against the establishment.
the establishment. There you go. And
Yeah,
so we'll talk about.
they were fighting the man.
And the man fought back. They fought the law, and the law won.
That's typically the way it works, huh?
And so Tony will talk about what that means for Florida State and for other schools dealing with NIL situations like this, which by all accounts they're not the only ones doing this exact thing. So we'll see what happens. Terry McCormick will also join us, of course, as interviews are ongoing with Titans front office staff for a future head coach of the Titans. So all of that coming your way. Monstars, NFL playoffs, rapid fire reaction, and much, much more. So stick with us here. We're going to get to all of it. But before we do that, we're going to get you to the results from the weekend and today's very short schedule on the rundown.
This is the rundown.
The Monday Rundown is brought to you by Zion Christian Academy. ZCA offers a faith-based, Christ-centered education in Murray County. Give them a call today. Well, maybe not today, but
they're not there today.
931-388-5831 or visit zioneagles.org to schedule your appointment today. Zion Christian Academy, prepared for college, equipped for purpose. Maybe not today.
Tomorrow? Nope, not tomorrow. Maybe next week.
Tomorrow either.
Just be safe. Wait till next week. Girls basketball from the weekend. Friday night action. Franklin Road Academy 64-35 winners over Battleground Academy. Cane Ridge Downs Antioch 62-25. It was Clarksville Academy 43-38 winners over Donaldson Christian. Northwest was a 58-25 winner against Kenwood Columbia. Falls again. Is that 2 in a row?
That is 2 in a row. Both in district play.
Tough. Columbia Central falls to Coffee County 49-37 at home on Friday. Providence Christian down Columbia Academy 59-29. Huntland downs Eagleville in a close one 53-51. Ensworth was a 51-39 winner over Pope Prep. Ezo Harding edges Nashville Christian 51-50. Zion Christian falls to FC Boyd Senior Christian 72-20. It was Father Ryan 46, CPA 35. Good Pasture 65-26 winners over Friendship Christian. Beach Downs Gallatin 58-48. White House 40, Greenbrier 37. Harpeth Hall falls to the Lipscomb Academy 56-46, and Hume Fogg was a 55-14 winner over Glencliff. Does Harpeth Hall just walk to Lipscomb Academy when they played? Did they just jog over? I feel like you could. It's not that far.
No, it's not that far, but you do have to cross Hillsborough Road, and I wouldn't suggest walking.
That's a good thought. Good thought. McGavick 50, Hunters Lane 10, Hillsborough Downs John Overton 57-46. It was Rossview 57, Kirkwood 9, Lebanon 52-24 winners over Laverne. Liberty Creek falls to Westmoreland 39-27. Loretto down Summertown 51-44. Lawson 56-48 winners over Maplewood. Giles County falls to Marshall County 46-21. Green Hill 52, Mount Juliet 18. Lewis County 51-44 winners against Mount Pleasant, and Murfreesboro Central 55-51 winners against Tullahoma.
Also, Portland with a 63-31 win over Lead Academy. Page defeated Ravenwood 54-31. It was Blackman 59, Riverdale 23. Richland with a 63-34 win over Santa Fe in comeback fashion. Oakland 42, Siegel 36. Stewart's Creek with a 63-18 win over Smyrna. Springfield defeated Clarksville Northeast 62-37. It was Lincoln County 63, Spring Hill 32. Brentwood Academy 56, St. Cecilia 21, Summit with a 54-49 win over Centennial, Valor Collegiate 35, Martin Luther King 18, Henry County with a 67-28 win over West Creek, White House Heritage down Trousdale County 56-43, and Cookville defeated Wilson Central 68-51. On Saturday, Baylor defeated Middle Tennessee Christian 48-45. It was Lawrence County 68, Franklin County 44. Lebanon with a 52-35 win over Webb of Bell Buckle. Riverdale defeated Lead Academy 52-17. And Westmoreland defeated Rockvale 34-28.
All right, boys action from Friday night. Battleground Academy 58-34 winners over Franklin Road Academy. Clarksville Academy 64. Donaldson Christian 43. Northwest was a 73-58 winner over Kenwood. Columbia Central down to Coffee County 63-53. Columbia Academy 73-70 winners over Providence Christian, giving them a little taste of their own medicine with the the 3-point win in district play.
Yeah.
Davidson Academy 58-44 against Mount Juliet. Christian Eagleville 69-60 over Huntland. Pope Prep continues their rolling. 87-64 over Ensworth. Nashville Christian falls to Easel Harding 61-30. It was Zion Christian 66-34 winners over FC Boyd Senior Christian. Father Ryan 67, CPA 57. Franklin Downs Independence continuing a heck of a run in district play for the Admiral 73-65. Friendship Christian 69, Good Pasture 55, Gallatin 45-44 winners over Beach. Greenbrier Downs White House 66-57. It was East Robertson 62, Joe Burns 52, Hillsboro 62-38 winners over John Overton. Lebanon falls to Laverne 63-52. Westmoreland Downs Liberty Creek 54-48. Loretto big winners over Summertown 72-59. Lawson Downs Maplewood 70-51. Giles County 62-56 winners over Marshall County. MBA 48. Lipscomb Academy 42. Watertown 51-41 winners over Monterey. Mount Juliet Downs Green Hill 45-40. Mount Pleasant was a 78-45 winner over Lewis County. And Tullahoma 68. Murfreesboro Central 48.
Also, Portland 68, Lead Academy 51. Ravenwood with a 56-36 win over Page. East Nashville defeated Republic 79-43. It was Blackman 52, Riverdale 34. Santa Fe, top-ranked Santa Fe with a 62-50 win over number 7 Richland. Siegel 86, Oakland 79. Jeez, shootout. Stewart's Creek with a 73-59 win over Smyrna. Spring Hill defeated Lincoln County 60-58. Centennial with a 58-49 win over Summit. Martin Luther King defeated Valor Collegiate 63-36. It was West Creek 49, Henry County 39. Trousdale County with a 59-54 win over White House Heritage. And Cookville defeated Wilson Central 68-46 on Saturday. Good Pasture edged Beach 63-60. It was Brentwood Academy 55, Blackman 35. Christ Presbyterian Academy with an 89-79 win over Butler County, Kentucky. Kirkwood defeated Greenwood of Kentucky 69-65. Lawrence County 62, Franklin County 56. It was Lebanon 71, York Institute 59. Montgomery Bell Academy with an 81-77 win over Rossview. Owensboro Catholic of Kentucky defeated Station Camp 68-53. Pope Prep 68, Hillsboro 55, Lead Academy 60, Riverdale 50, Upperman 69, Franklin Classical 35, and Webb School of Bell Buckle with a 71-36 win over Grace Christian of Franklin.
Women's basketball college ranks. Belmont doubles up Evansville and then some. 84-40 were the Lady Bruins in that one. Middle Tennessee State 87, Sam Houston 55, Lipscomb 85, 67 winners over Tuna and the University of North Alabama. Missouri 65-63 winners at Memorial over Vanderbilt. Tough loss for the Commodore women.
It was. Yeah, that was one of those come from ahead losses for the Commodores there.
And just tough, those turnarounds. But Belmont was able to take care of it because they defeated Indiana State 61-56 on Sunday. Tennessee goes to College Station and does not enjoy the trip. Texas A&M 71-56 winners over the Lady Vols. Campbellsville Downs Cumberland 88-75. Fisk continues to roll after their trip to the Virgin Islands 65-36 winners.
Rejuvenated.
Exactly. Southern at New Orleans. Trevecca with a big 89-76 win over Northwood. And Loyola at New Orleans down UT Southern 76-66.
Men's basketball action over the weekend. Indiana State all over Belmont 94-64. Tennessee State with a much-needed win, 75-60 over Lindenwood. Lipscomb defeated Austin P 91-77. It was Sam Houston 60, Middle Tennessee State 51. Cumberland with a 79-74 win over Campbellsville. Fisk defeated Southern at New Orleans 86-76. Trevecca in overtime downs Northwood 78-75, and UT Southern defeated Loyola of New Orleans 69-58 on the ice. Not that outside, but actually the ice inside Bridgestone. Yes, no. Were these home? I don't know.
Dallas was on the road. New York was at home.
Okay. Well, it didn't matter to the Predators because they won
Nope.
on both. 6-3 over the Stars, 3-1 over the Islanders. And in the association, the Grizzlies fall twice. 128-119 to the Clippers, 106-94 to the Knickerbockers.
Today's schedule, this is highly unlikely that these two games are going to get played. I don't know if they are. I don't know if they're not. Could not find an update on these two. Every other game that was on the schedule, I got it
no longer.
Franklin Road Christian is scheduled to play at FC Boyd Christian at 6 o'clock, and Webb School is at Lipscomb Academy at 6 o'clock. Both double headers. Check your local listings.
There we go.
And again, on the ice, but this one out west. The Predators are in Vegas. That's a 5 o'clock puck drop on Valley Sports South, and
Is
the
that
Grizzlies
4 o'clock in Vegas?
Yes.
Wow.
It's
okay.
it's a holiday
game. Mm-hmm.
So, and then in the association, the Warriors of Golden State are at the Grizzlies of Memphis at 5 o'clock, and that one is on national television. Unfortunately, for everyone having to watch basketball on TNT.
Goodness. Hey, before we close,
and
out
what
the
is
rundown,
not happening?
Yeah,
What-
yeah. One thing in particular that is not happening, unfortunately, the gymnastics meet at Vanderbilt involving Fisk and a number of other gymnastics programs has been canceled due to the weather, and that's really unfortunate. So I wasn't
But that
going, but I
is-
was looking forward to it. But, yeah.
That is
All
your rundown. Top stories brought to you, as always, by our friends at Piggly Wiggly, Neely's Mill Shopping Center in Columbia. They've got your daily lunch specials, as well as what was the other one? The delicious daily
Delicious daily deli lunch specials. There we go.
with fresh hand cut meats. They've got great produce and much, much more. All cost plus 10 at the register. Milk and bread. Good luck. I got plenty of milk. I got plenty of milk this weekend. There was plenty to be had. And luckily for me, I don't have to buy bread because Sarah's making it now. So we got sandwiches for days. We've got currently in my house, I have these, which are
What are those?
butterscotch. It's basically butterscotch brittle.
Butterscotch brittle. Okay.
It wasn't supposed to be. They were supposed to be cookies. We messed up, but it's delicious, so I'm not real worried about it. And we have cream cheese rolls and 2 loaves of bread.
Just 2.
Just 2. We but yeah, we've got plenty of baking items in the house. So anyway, today's top story is the coaching carousel continues in college football.
It does.
Yeah.
And it has spun out Arizona's Jed Fish, who is now Washington's Jed Fish, replacing Washington's Caleb DeBoer, who is now Alabama's Kalen DeBoer. Which, as you alluded prior to the show, raises the question, who's next at Arizona?
I'm telling you, man, this is going to be the most interesting hire of the offseason because what we've come
because you may or may not get paid, huh?
well, I mean, because what we've seen, and there's this Jed Fish owes Arizona about $5.5 million. So
and they're going to want it.
now they're only $290 million in debt.
Hey, every little bit helps, right?
Every penny counts at this point. But yeah, what we've come to know for Power 5 college coach salaries, I don't know that we can expect that in this hire. And I'm not sure exactly what that does for the University of Arizona as far as their athletics program goes. It's a dangerous precedent to set. And I'm not sure if they can hire someone and pay them anywhere near what a Power 5 coach at most places are getting paid.
So what does that mean? Does that mean you've got to hire somebody who has already had a big payday and convince them to take it? Or does that mean you who's young and inexperienced and not used to getting paid? Or how do you approach that?
I think one or the other. Ideally, it's the guy who doesn't need the money. Right? I mean, ideally, it's the guy who just got fired and got a pretty big buyout, and like a Brian Harsin.
But here's the thing, though. I mean, ideally, it's somebody who doesn't need the money but does need the headache, because it's not just salary that's going to be an issue at Arizona from a financial standpoint.
Right. You're not going to be able to compete in the NIL scape, most likely. One, you're Arizona. Any NIL money that's significant is probably going to the basketball program. Two, the positive is you're in the Big 12. Now, the negative to that is you're in the Big 12 with Colorado, whose NIL money is seamlessly endless. It appears to be endless. I don't know. So you've got a chance to be at least somewhat competitive. So maybe if you are a young coach who can do it for $500,000 or $750,000, and you're willing to take that risk and as a stepping stone job, if you're semi-successful at Arizona, you probably get another Power 5 job, whether it's Iowa State when Matt Campbell finally decides to leave, if Matt Campbell finally decides to leave, or Lance Leopold, etc. Right?
Mm-hmm.
I think those are your options. And for Arizona, I'm not sure which way they're going to go, but it's got to be one of those two. I mean, a Barry Odom type.
Barry Odom's name has in fact come up and is mentioned on azdesertswarm.com, along with Texas State's G.J. Kinney. This is an interesting name to me under the circumstances, because while you may or may not get paid at Arizona, at least you're in a conference, which is more than you can say for Jake Dickert at Washington State.
They have a conference. Ish.
The Pac-2.
Ish.
Ish. Kinda, sorta, yeah. I think that's an interesting name.
I mean, sure.
Here's another interesting name. You ain't gonna like it. Jacksonville State head coach Rich Rodriguez.
Not a chance. One, they can't pay him what we're paying him. And two, he's not going back to Arizona. He's had that headache. He's been there. He's done that. He's the big man on campus at Jacksonville State, and they got a better chance of going bowling at JSU than they do
Than Arizona does?
Arizona.
Didn't Arizona just go 10-3 this past year?
They did. Okay. How much of that was – well, they also lost to Mississippi State, Mo. That was pre-quarterback change, though.
Mm-hmm.
They made a quarterback change mid-season and won 10 straight or something like that. So,
speaking of Mississippi State and quarterbacks,
Will Rogers.
Will Rogers, who had gone into the transfer portal, come out in Seattle, is now back in the transfer portal with the departure of Kalen DeBoer.
Good luck.
Where did Will Rogers transfer to Mississippi State from?
Oh, that's a good question. He did transfer, though.
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it was like West Virginia or something. I don't remember.
It was somewhere up that way, I feel like.
So, yeah, I don't know. But he is, once again, in said portal. So I hate that for him. I really do. And I know that Kalen DeBoer probably hates that he had to do that too.
No. He committed to Mississippi State out of high school in Louisville, Mississippi, as opposed to Louisville.
There you go.
He committed to Mississippi State over an offer from Washington State.
Ironic.
Yeah. So very interesting. So
Yeah, no doubt.
does he wind up at Alabama?
No.
Okay.
They have
Cool.
5
cool.
quarterbacks who are better than Will Rogers. So that's unfortunate for Will.
Yeah, it is.
It just is. So
It happens.
all right, let's take a break. Grant McCauley is standing by, so we need to get to him and talk a little Braves on the other side of this break. So stick around on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. We're back in a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50 plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, Maurice Patton here with you on this Monday. We're coming to you from the split Lee Company studio and
multiple studios.
Yeah, working from home today as neither of us feel comfortable walking in the snow, much less driving in it today. So that's what we're going to be doing. But we have a great show anchored by some great guests, including our next guest, Mo.
Yeah, 92.9 The Game out of Atlanta's Grant McCauley now joins us. Grant, is it snowing in Atlanta?
No, we've got no snow here, and I don't think anybody is too upset about it because when it snows in Atlanta, things go a little bit awry.
Well,
Yeah.
understood, because when it snows up here, things go a lot awry. So yeah, I get it. I
Just
get
a
it.
bit.
Yeah,
Yeah.
appreciate you. Nice swag there, man.
Well, thank
I
you.
like
Mhm.
that.
Thank
That's
you. I had to do something with all these bobbleheads that they give out over the last couple of years. And it's more and more. When I was growing up, it was like a couple a year. Now I think they give somewhere between 12 and 15 bobbleheads per season, which seems a bit excessive. But then again, they haven't run out of ideas.
one per series, huh?
At least, yeah.
Yeah. Um, what is the bigger news regarding the Braves? Is it last Thursday's agreement with Max Fried to avoid arbitration, or is it the Perdomo signing?
I mean, I would say from a big picture perspective, like longer term, the Perdomo is much more of an exciting kind of signing because the Max Fried one is expected. I mean, they were either going to go to arbitration or they were going to agree to a deal, which they did, which is the first time in a couple of years, which is not a small thing. But you knew Max Fried was going to be here in 2024, to make a long story short. The Perdomo signing, though, I mean, you think about what the Braves had to go through after 2017 when MLB handed down those sanctions and they couldn't sign international free agents for so long. Well, now they're signing one of, if not the top guys in this class. And that's been a minute for the Atlanta Braves. Now, in the international field of play, as far as signing these free agents, it doesn't necessarily guarantee that the guy you pay the most is going to give you the most, as has been shown very many times. But I think that this is a talent the Braves are very high on, very excited about. And as a young, toolsy shortstop, you look at where the Braves are set up over the course of the rest of this decade and maybe beyond. Shortstop's not really locked down long term. So maybe this is a guy who's going to figure in to being one of the fixtures of this club, and they can figure out what they need to do and want to do as far as Max Fried is concerned beyond 2024. So I'd give Perdomo the edge as far as the excitement factor.
Avoiding arbitration with Max, does that do anything for the likelihood of re-signing him, do you think?
I kind of thought so. I mean, the last couple of years, they have gone to that trial, and it may have been a case where Max Fried, who is the Braves union rep, by the way, looked at it and thought, I feel like we're probably not going to win this case this time around. So everybody knows. They exchange the numbers. They can talk a little bit about, what they feel is or what they're comfortable with and work out that deal and not deal with kind of the unfun situation of being a player who sits in a hearing. And here's why the club doesn't think you're the greatest. And I think there was a really great, or doesn't think that you're as good as maybe you think you are. Maybe that's the best way to say it. But Corbin Burns with the Milwaukee Brewers, I mean, he had harbored some serious hurt feelings over his arbitration hearing with Milwaukee. And now it seems like as he heads into his final year of control, he may be another guy that's going to be looking to go out on the free agent market and not really look at re-signing a long-term deal and not really be open to that. But I don't necessarily think that's Max Fried's case. I've talked to Max over the years, including after his arbitration hearing last year. He understands the process. He likes Atlanta. He obviously loves playing for this team. He loves the winning that they're able to do. But as you get closer to free agency, as we've seen with Freddie Freeman and Dansby Swanson, which again, these are different players, different cases, it doesn't necessarily portend well to getting that extension done, but it doesn't rule it out entirely. So I did feel like, to kind of answer your question in the longest form possible, that avoiding the arbitration hearing does feel like a little bit of something, maybe a little bit of progress, and maybe that will be something that can spark some talks going forward.
I've always just felt like, Grant, when they were handing out all of the other extensions to Acuna and Ozzie and Austin and everybody else, that when Max wasn't in it, I just felt like he wanted to get to free agency.
Possibly. I mean, everybody looks at it. I think every player does realistically, in that you play 6 years under a certain team and, they can trade you, they control you for that 6 years. And then you go beyond that and you get to kind of pick your contract. If you play well enough to get clubs interested, that's what free agency is all about. And, getting that process to maybe have your current club involved and then find out 5 or 6 other teams would like to have you play there and get the big money, that is going to be appealing to any player. But when I looked at all those extensions, only one of them has been handed out to a pitcher, and that was Spencer Strider, and that was in his first full year in the major league. So I feel like that's kind of the differential between a Max Fried, who's more tenured, and a younger guy like Spencer Strider, who has a totally different skill set, is obviously a very exciting pitcher and can be for a long time. Fried's just in a different place, and especially the position players that I felt like when clubs give out big money and when you think about these deals, you feel, I think, a little bit more confident, a little bit more comfortable with position players than pitchers, because you know that they're always potentially one pitch away from an injury. So I think that's why the Braves kind of stayed away from handing out a lot of pitcher extensions over the past few years.
And obviously, Max has had a couple of issues injury-wise as well, so perhaps that has had the Braves shy away a little bit from an extension to Max. I'm not sure, but I do think that next year's free agent class for pitchers certainly gives the Braves some options, if not Max Fried. So I guess, it's kind of a gamble, but at least you feel like you've got maybe a king or a queen in the hole, if not an ace.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, and obviously they were linked to going after Aaron Nola if he was going to be interested in moving on from Philadelphia. I don't know that he was necessarily motivated to move on, and clearly the Phillies stepped up and took that question or that opportunity away from the Braves and every other club that would have liked to have had him. But I could still see a world in which the Braves re-sign Max Fried. But again, as you get into free agency and you look at the way the Braves have spent over the years, are they always going to be able to find a Charlie Morton or a Chris Sale more recently to patch their rotation with somebody that they believe in a lot? Or at some point, I mean, I know they've got Spencer Strider locked down. Would you not like to lock in and know that you've got Max Fried coming back for a number of years rather than feeling like you're in your last year potentially and you got to go search for answers every year? That's a hard process to go through. And I would imagine for Alex Anthopoulos and his front office, it's a little bit challenging to find those arms you believe in, because we know they've built a club and an offense that can certainly power this team through the regular season, but you need those arms come October, and Max Fried could very well be one of those arms.
And the more often, Grant, you do have to go and search for those arms, the more likely that at one point you're going to hit a clunker.
Sure. And you look at 2020, they wanted to supplement that rotation with Cole Hamels, and he ended up being injured. He was hurt. I think that's a bit of a cautionary tale. Now, the flip side of that coin was Max Fried. I had a conversation with him last spring about this as well. Cole Hamels meant a lot to him because he saw a lot of what Cole Hamels had accomplished in his career was how Max was looking, what he was looking to become. And starting in 2020, he really took that big step, that next step into being one of the best left-handers in baseball. And I think Cole Hamels was a big influence for him over the course of that year. But when you think about, the possibilities, I mean, I know it's risky signing people to long-term contracts. I know it's, a risk that you take, maybe not signing someone to a long-term contract and having to search for somebody else. That's why when the question comes up, well, should the Braves trade Max Fried if they can't sign him long-term? And I say the answer to that is no, because then you got to replace him. And who are you going to replace him with? And as you just pointed out, maybe who you get in is not going to be as good as who you had. But that, of course, is the question of baseball, and it renews year after year after year. What is the best way and what is the best grouping that you can put together to make the club the best it can? And I think that's something Alex Anthopoulos and his group have been very committed to. But with Max Fried getting close to free agency, it's just going to be a different form of that question. And for Max, he's going to have that opportunity to look around and have other clubs looking at him. And what is that free agent market going to look like? As we've seen over the past few years, it can be pretty rich. And a guy like Max Fried, who's been a perennial Cy Young Award candidate, that's a guy that I think a lot of clubs are going to be looking at.
Grant McCauley of 92.9 The Game joining us here on Main Street Sports today. And Grant, this is kind of, well, we're a month away now, less than a month away from pitchers and catchers, which is an exciting
Couldn't
time.
tell it looking out our window, but
no,
yeah.
yeah,
it's not snowing in Florida.
Yeah, it is not snowing in Florida, thank goodness. But when this club gets down there are 3, 4, 5 open spots on the 40-man. Are those spots going to be for the taking during spring training, or do the Braves have an idea of, maybe going out and signing some vet guys? What's the plan?
Yeah, I think that they're going to over the next few weeks, and maybe even into the early portion of spring training or the latter part when clubs have to make those cuts and maybe they don't have room for a couple of players that make sense for the Braves. They'll be able to fill that 40-man out. But it's unlike any year I've ever seen where there were at one point, I believe, 8 spots open on the 40-man after they made the trade with the White Sox to get Aaron Bummer. And they essentially loaded up everybody that they could have non-tendered or were considering not offering a contract to and sent him to the White Sox. And that was a bit of a strange, I guess, series of events there that I just had not seen before. I still think they need a right-hand hitting outfielder that would help them off the bench. They signed Luis Guillorme, who was formerly of the New York Mets, as kind of a versatile infield option. David Fletcher's not on the 40-man right now, but he was picked up from the Angels. I think he takes one of those spots. So you're probably realistically looking at maybe 3, possibly 4 spots on the 40-man that I think will be filled within that next month leading up to spring training.
Gotcha.
You touched, Grant, on the trade of that saw Atlanta pick up Chris Sale from the Red Sox in exchange for. Is he still a prospect, Grant Von Grissom?
So.
I mean,
I think so. He's close to graduating from it, exceeding those rookie limits, I guess. But technically, when you just turned 23 and you're still trying to find that full-time job in the majors, and you have as good a year as he had in AAA last year, I would consider him a prospect, at least in spirit, if not by designation these days. But he's right on that fringe.
Can you please explain something to me?
Sure,
because you see a lot more Braves baseball than I do, which it's hard to believe, but you do. Why was Von Grissom not the answer at shortstop?
I think the biggest thing for the Braves was the continuity of the everyday defense, and it's just a position that they weren't able to truly believe and commit to him that he was going to be able to cover that position every single day. And I think that as you looked at the opportunities that he got at shortstop in the big leagues, they were fleeting, obviously. They just wanted to go with somebody who offered a bit of a more, I think, steady hand. And Orlando Arcia was the right guy at the right time and was able to step up and take that job. Now, Vaughn, I think if he could have pivoted over to second base, that might have made some sense for the Braves, but they have an awfully good second baseman, so they didn't need that. He's not going to move to third base because they have an awfully good third baseman. And I just don't think that Von Grissom offers the power profile that you're looking for out of a corner outfielder. So even though the Braves talked about him going down and playing winter ball and doing those things, which I commend Von Grissom for doing, obviously, because he's trying to find at bats however he can, I didn't see him being the answer in left field without the Braves turning over a lot of other stones first. And clearly Jared Kelenic changed that equation. And I think as Alex Anthopoulos talked about it with the media a couple of weeks ago upon that trade, they weren't going to get this deal done without Von Grissom being included. So that just seemed to be a thing where the Braves didn't really have an opportunity to play him every day. And as a young player that could bring them something back like a Chris Sale, I think it was the right time to make that move. And hopefully Chris Sale can remain healthy. 20 starts for the first time in 5 years this past season, over 100 innings. That's things trending in the right direction. He finished the season strong. And if they get a healthy Chris Sale in that rotation, that's really what the Braves were looking for all winter. So I think a lot of different roads all kind of came together to have Von Grissom be the player that went to Boston to bring Chris Sale to Atlanta. Clearly,
his first major league home run made an impression on the Red Sox.
I would say so. It made an impression on me. I know that.
No doubt. And I'm not sure that where do you think he figures in Boston, just out of curiosity?
I'm kind of interested to see that, to be honest with you, because they have some young infield prospects. I think Trevor Story's been battling injury the last couple of years, but obviously we saw Xander Bogaerts go sign with the San Diego Padres. So I don't think everything's settled on their infield, and there's a little bit more opportunity at one place or another than there was for the Braves, where they really didn't seem to be much, if any, opportunity beyond shortstop. Could he play the outfield there some? I guess, but I could see him being more of like maybe a super utility guy for them that could get the occasional start at third when Rafael Devers is not in the lineup, start at short, start at second. And he's a useful player in terms of his bat-to-ball skills. So I just feel like there's more of an overall opportunity, a clearer opportunity for Von Grissom up in Boston.
Yeah, sometimes when you have an offense as good as the Braves have and a defense really as good as the Braves have, there are just going to be some guys, some good guys who aren't good enough. And that's a testament to what this organization has built over the last 5 years.
Yeah, it definitely is. And then when you look at what they need, their list of needs was very specific and very short. And you have a chance to go out and get somebody like a Jared Kelenic, who was a super prospect a few years ago. Von Grissom was a very good prospect. Jared Kelenic was a mega prospect. And I think that there's still a lot in his bat. He's still a young player. I think the Braves are excited to kind of get him in their laboratory and work on that swing and see what they can unlock there. So I feel like that with 5 years of control made a ton of sense in left field. And then obviously making the Chris Sale trade was important to them to supplement that rotation beyond just bringing back Charlie Morton. So the Braves, as they fortified the bullpen in the background of all of that, were able to check off pretty much every major box and do so really without having to part with a lot of their younger prospects, the younger arms, the A.J. Smith-Shavers, Hurston Waldrips, and the like, that I think they do see potentially being answers for what we initially started talking about. What does the rotation look like in the future, particularly if Max Fried is not a part of that rotation?
You touched on something, and I want to get. I'm sorry, Mo. I didn't.
No. I think we're going in the same direction anyway. So go ahead.
The bullpen
No, we weren't.
The bullpen that you mentioned is what we like to call Snitker proof, where you can't punt because everybody's just too good. No matter who you throw out there, you still got a chance to win a game, even if you're down 2 or 3 in the 6th or 7th. But AJ Minter is also in that arbitration situation. Is he a candidate for extension? What's the deal there? Because it feels like he's just been lights out in his role. Is it on him or is it on the Braves? Is there a reason he hasn't been extended?
No, it's on both sides. And I think that the thing with a relief pitcher, and this is any relief pitcher, is, and we saw this really with Joe Jimenez this year. We saw it with Pierce Johnson, who they got at the trade deadline. I don't think they're necessarily looking to lock in relievers unless or until they have to do it and feel like they need to do it. And I feel like with AJ, there's a lot of motivation for the Braves, and I think a lot for him to want to keep a good thing going. And AJ has been one of the most solid guys in that clubhouse. He's been a part of all the winning they've done since that rebuild, all the way through the World Series on the night shift. He went through his highs and lows a couple of different times, including in 2023. And I feel like at the end of the year, you just look down and you're like, man, this guy may be the Braves' most valuable reliever. And this has been going on for a few years now. So I would love to see, that be a guy that sticks around in this Braves bullpen mix for quite some time. I don't know that there's a reason that they haven't done it other than, again, with relief pitchers, when you have to, you go ahead and bite the bullet. But if you're several years out and the arbitration number is manageable, which his has been, he's going to be making about $6 million this year after settling and deciding to forego the arbitration hearing himself. I don't feel like the Braves were under any pressure to have to give out that long-term contract, if that makes sense.
Grant McCauley with 92.9 The Game out of Atlanta joining us as we talk a little hot stove Brave stuff. And Grant, you mentioned maybe a right-handed hitting outfielder might be on the Braves wish list. There's one available, and there's one that they're familiar with.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance Adam Duvall is back again?
I don't know if it's enough playing time for Adam Duvall, because I feel like if he waits, he might find a club that's going to allow him to find 300-400 or more plate appearances the way he would have in Boston last year had he not gotten injured early on. I feel like we're probably looking at, I thought you were going to maybe Kevin Pillar, because he fit in so well last year as the platoon partner for Eddie Rosario. I also feel like the Braves are going to be looking to give Kelenic as much of an opportunity against lefties this year as they possibly can. Maybe he sits every once in a while, but I think they view him as an everyday player. So for a guy like Adam Duvall to come over and basically end up being a defensive replacement, he's not going to DH or not really going to have that many opportunities to do so if Marcell Ozuna is doing what he did in 2023. I just don't feel like there's as clear a path for a guy like Duvall, who has a lot more power in that bat and could get a lot more bats elsewhere, than somebody who fit the bill so well last year like Kevin Pillar, who was also loved in that clubhouse as well. I think he was a great fit.
Makes sense. That's what a lot of folks expect, and we'll see if Pillar finds his way to being that role player again. Grant, as always, man, very insightful. There's one question that I want to talk about, but I'm not sure that we have time to get into it today, so I'm gonna leave it be. But it has nothing to do with the team. Well, it has nothing to do with the team or players or where are we going to watch the Braves post next year? And how that television contract's going to play out.
My whole answer is I don't know, and I'm waiting to find out just like you are.
Yeah, but there's one day, we had a whole segment on what happens to Diamond Sports in Valley. So it's going to be interesting, but we appreciate it as always and look forward to talking to you again soon, man.
Of course. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Grant.
All right, we'll take a break. When we come back, we've got Monstars from the weekend. So stick around on Main Street Sports Today. We're back in a moment. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net. Custom Stone Handler supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA. With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Piggly Wiggly, located in Neely's Mill Shopping Center, is Columbia's locally owned and operated Cost Plus 10 grocery store dedicated to serving the community with low prices and smiling faces. Piggly Wiggly offers fresh, hand-cut meats daily as well as daily hot plate lunches from their deli counter. You're certain to see smiling faces and a helping hand when you're here at Piggly Wiggly. Come by and check out our fresh produce, high-quality meats, and more. Down home, down the street, we'll see you at the Pig.
Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, and it is time now for Monstars. Justin Kulick's on the controls, making sure those videos play perfectly, and they do, in fact, each and every segment. We appreciate that. Mo, let's talk about some of our favorite or most impressive performances from the weekend.
All right. Who's going first?
Well, we don't have any Titans that are obvious, so Justin may not have any obvious choices today. But Justin, do you have one?
I do actually. And this is big of me. I don't know how big, but CJ Stroud, I got to give his flowers, man. He's a dog, and I kind of knew he was. But what a game to step up in. And he did it against Burrow in the regular season. He steps up in big games. I got to give it to him, man. They put a whooping on him.
Stroud, 16 of 21 for 274 yards, 3 touchdowns in the Texans' 45-14 win over Cleveland. So, yeah, definitely a step-up type game for the rookie. Yao, you got one?
I do, but I'm looking up a bit of bio information.
Okay.
If it's okay, so go ahead and.
Okay. Well, I will piggyback off of JK's dog, and this guy is not a rookie quarterback, but he is a quarterback, and he put up amazingly similar numbers. Jordan Love, 16 of 21 for 272 yards, 3 touchdowns in the number 7 seed Packers 48-32 win at Dallas last night.
How about Love, man? How about him?
Pretty impressive.
Dude was unreal. And just stupid good. And as Mo pointed out on Twitter, I can remember what couple months ago when they were ready to move on.
Yeah. We're not sure if Jordan Love is the answer at quarterback. And
That was-
maybe that was intentional on their part. Maybe they meant to do what they did.
Hey,
he felt it. You know he did.
I've seen that work. I've seen that work. So
maybe they meant to do that, or maybe they were idiots. I don't know. But
perhaps
he balled out last night. Perfect quarterback rating. Only the third perfect quarterback rating in NFL postseason history. The other two guys, Peyton Manning, Terry Bradshaw. Make of that what you will.
That's pretty solid folks right there. So, all right. I think I have found it. We're going to go with Memphis Central graduate, current New Orleans privateer, Jordan Johnson, who led the Privateers in a win over Texas A&M Corpus Christi this weekend with 40 points.
40?
40 points and 7 boards in an 83-80 win. So he scored half as many as his opponent did, and you'll take that from Jordan.
You get 40 points. You don't have to get any boards, to be honest.
And yet
he got 7.
He still went out there and did the thing. So good job. The New Orleans Privateers. This is a great name, by the way.
Well, the Privateers and the Islanders of Corpus Christi, and they got two of the better logos. I came across them, scrolled across them looking for something else, I think, on CBS Sports the other day. So yeah, good stuff. Nice get there, Mr. Yao.
All right.
JK?
I got to go with my boy Pukanua.
Nakua.
My bad. My apologies.
You're good.
9 receptions, 181 yards. Another rookie. I just love when rookies ball out in the playoffs, especially, they didn't get a lot of hype going in.
This guy,
he's a real deal too.
He had statistically as good of a season as Randy Moss had when he finished 3rd in MVP voting as a rookie. So, yeah, that's pretty solid. Got to think you'll take that.
My number 2, Dalton Connect, 36 points as the Vols rallied from a potential come-from-ahead loss to win 85-79 down at Georgia on Saturday.
The best last name for a Hooper ever.
No doubt. Connect? Yeah.
It really is. Yeah, it's hard to beat Connect in basketball
so and be good. That's so hard.
That's a KN name that we like.
Yeah, we can say and not feel bad about it.
That one. Yeah.
Oh man, yeah. That's there's that. All right, let's see here. I'm going to go because that was my next one. So let's go out west to Oregon State, where Reagan Beers had 27 and 15 for.
Beers?
That's right.
Okay.
That's a great name. I'm just saying.
It is.
Reagan Beers, Beers, just like you're having multiple alcoholic beverages.
There we go.
Their win over. Who did I just say? Crap.
I don't know.
Anyway. Arizona, their win over Arizona. She had 27 and 15.
That's solid.
So
JK?
I'm gonna go with the Chiefs defense, specifically that video of Ladarius Sneed, I believe his name is, on the Chiefs stiffen Tyreek Hill at the line. Did y'all see that video?
I did not see that video. Did not see that game. Do not have Peacock.
He was pushing him around like a teddy bear. It was like he's sliding all around. They stepped up big time. In -5 degrees kickoff. It's crazy.
My third, in keeping with my college pro high school. Stop me if you've heard this before. Alden Slaughter had 39 points Friday night.
Hey, 39, it was short of 40.
Yeah, well, as top ranked Santa Fe defeated number 7 Richland 62-50. 39. Yeah. This dude is a walk-in bucket, y'all, for real. I know it's class 1A and I know it's not Independence or Pope Prep or whoever else it is that you've heard of, but if y'all appreciate high school basketball at all, go see this kid.
Hey, and here's the thing. You say what you want. Atmosphere-wise, give me small school basketball all day. Because the gyms are almost always tiny.
Packed.
Which means
tiny
they're packed.
And packed.
Electricity.
Because it's the only thing going on in the town. So,
and you use that name town loosely in a lot of these instances as well.
The bleachers in the gym too.
Yeah.
So loud.
Oh yeah, it's insane. They're you know, but anyway, my final one. I'm going to go to Nico Collins, 6 for 96 in the touchdown, just because I like Nico, good dude, and want to give him some love. So, Nico Collins is my final Monstar. And that takes us to the top of the hour where Terry McCormick is standing by. We'll be with him in just a moment. Right after this, stick around.
He shoots and he scores!
Since 1975, Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint Clinic has treated the orthopedic needs of Middle Tennessee residents. The trained physicians provide surgical options and minimally invasive options to treat all orthopedic needs. The walk-in clinic, OrthoQuick, helps you bypass the ER while treating sports injuries and acute needs Monday through Saturday. Visit MTBJ online at mtbj.net or on social media at Mid-Tennessee Bone Joint Clinic. Welcome back in. It is time now for your Daily Titans Report, powered by Zen Sports with Terry McCormick. And Terry, what's up?
Well, guys, Titans are in the midst of a coaching search. 9 names we now know have been sought permission to speak to, including Dan Quinn. And after yesterday, I'm not sure that Amy Adams Strunk and Rand Carthen might cross that one off, might have just put a red line through that one and said, no thanks, we'll pass.
But no thanks, yeah.
But he's still supposedly on their radar. So we shall see.
Terry, before we get too deep into Titans, I want to get back to this little note that you typed up here during our Monstars. Tell the people who your Monstar was.
Okay, there was a young lady, and forgive me, I forgot her name because Houston County is one of my papers that I edit. Well, this young lady was the homecoming queen last week, and then she went out and dropped 30 on a team. So had 30 points and was the homecoming queen. So that's quite an accomplishment.
What is that, the Houston County Herald?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Do continue. Who do you like of the names that we've heard to this point?
Well, like I said last week, I'm partial to guys who come from the offensive side of the ball. I think that's the way the league is going. I think that's something the Titans have resisted for quite some time. And I also, thought about it this way. you're going to be going into a brand new dome stadium. And when you play in a dome stadium, you need to tailor your team to play in that dome stadium, which means there are not any snowstorms. It's not going to look like it's looking in Buffalo today. It's not going to be, horrible weather games when you play at home anymore. You're going to be able to zip up and down the field like a track meet if you want to. That means tailoring your offense with explosive weapons at the wide receiver, tight end, and running back positions to build around your quarterback. Yet another reason, in my opinion, to go the offensive side of the ball. And after seeing the way that C.J. Stroud lit up the Browns and Jim Schwartz's defense, I got to think that Bobby Slowick maybe could do some of that same stuff with Will Levis. Maybe not quite the polished talent C.J. Stroud is right now, but certainly has the same type of arm strength and some of those intangibles that you like in a quarterback.
Yeah, I feel like everybody is really excited. I think Saturday probably flipped a lot of Titans fans' thoughts on Bobby Slowick, and you've been on him since day one, Terry. I mean, you were the first person who I heard say the name, and obviously with his connection with Rand, it just makes a lot of sense. And I think folks would be happy right now if Bobby Slowick was the guy.
Yeah, the one thing that I hear about Bobby Slowick is that they said, well, he may not be quite ready for a head coaching job or anything like that, that he may be a year away. But isn't that what people said about Matt LaFleur? And isn't that what people said about Sean McVay? So, isn't that what people said about Mike McDaniel? So those types of things can be overcome. And one of the ways you overcome that is when he assembles his staff, have a sounding board guy. Wouldn't hurt to have a veteran defensive coordinator on the staff to kind of be his sounding board as he makes these final decisions, before he heads into a game plan or a play call. Because, he's on the rise. He's a talent, in the making, so to speak. But it never hurts to have some wise words around. Fisher was always really good at this because over the years he kept guys like Dave McGinnis and Gunther Cunningham, guys who had been around the league, had been well-versed in how the league worked, and he used those guys as sounding boards. And then later on you saw it with Mike Munchak do it with some people. I think he had, if I'm not mistaken, somebody there had Ray Horton, who was a valuable defensive mind. One of them had Dick LeBeau, who was a valuable defensive mind. Mike Vrabel had Dean Pease. So those guys are out there. You just got to find them.
Out there they are, indeed. Should be an interesting, week because obviously with playoffs continuing, they can't talk to everybody they want to talk to. So I know most of these guys are doing their interviews via Zoom or whatever, but do you expect that we're going to have any type of information more than what we know by the end of the week?
I think this week will be more Zoom interviews, more talking to the candidates that have already been mentioned. There may be another one or two that get added to the list, but you can't have in-person interviews with anybody until after the divisional round of the playoffs. So it won't be until after next weekend's round of the playoffs before you can start doing in-person interviews, especially with guys who are already on staff somewhere. And one other point I want to make with you guys, and tell me if you agree with this. And, and I noticed this watching the Detroit Lions last night. People wonder, you got to have a dynamic quarterback to make it happen. And that's a big part of it. It really is. But, not everybody's going to have Patrick Mahomes and not everybody's going to have Joe Burrow to hitch their offense to. But if you have a quarterback who is good enough and you put good weapons and good protection around him, then you can win with that. And I think Will Levis has shown that he has the potential that if you put good weapons around him, why can't he do what Jared Goff has done this year? Why can't he do what Baker Mayfield has done in a resurgence in Tampa? Why can't he do what Geno Smith did last year in revamping his career in Seattle? The quarterback doesn't have to be a superstar. He just has to have weapons around him and make smart decisions with the football.
And I'll tell you,
Josh Reynolds,
making smart decisions with the football at times would probably put you ahead of Jared Goff. Just to be
he
totally
made
honest.
one really dumb decision last night,
So,
but it didn't cost him because his guy wound up recovering the fumble. But yes,
so
well, and it wasn't exactly Will Levis's forte at Kentucky, though, Mo.
it wasn't, but
So
now, far be it from me to be a Will Levis apologist. I mean, we can go back and look at some of the things I said about him, but I mean, as a rookie, I thought he did a pretty good job taking care of the football, which is
especially behind that line.
Especially behind that line. So you would like to think that behind a real line, that's going to improve. So,
yeah. I mean, here's the thing with Levis. I think that he has the arm and that he has the smarts. He's going to study. He's going to do all those things. But he's got to not cross the line between being a pure gunslinger and doing something silly with the football. Sometimes it's better to throw it away and live to play another down rather than try to force it into double coverage sometimes.
I think David Cutcliffe is the first person I heard say any play that winds up with you still possessing the ball is a good play.
There you go.
So,
and I think maybe he learned some of that as a rookie, and hopefully it gets better going forward for the Titans.
All right, we've got a coaching search to continue.
Mm-hmm.
We will continue talking about it as long as it continues to drag on. But Terry, we appreciate it. Tell us about Zen Sports.
The new sports betting app exclusively in Tennessee the last few months, and I'm excited to share with you some big news. Now, when you sign up for a Zen Sports account, you will receive up to a $1,000 no danger first wager. That's right. When you place your first bet in Zen Sports with up to plus 500 odds, you can be reimbursed for the amount of your bet up to a $1,000 maximum within 24 hours if the bet loses. And there's more good news. Zen Sports is rolling out its brand new VIP rewards program. This new VIP rewards program will allow top-tier customers to earn more bonuses, comps, and perks. The VIP program is by invite only, so if you feel your Zen Sports play qualifies for VIP consideration, please check out the program details and apply at zensports.com/VIP. No other sportsbook will offer you a premier sports betting experience with 24/7 top-tier customer support and faster withdrawals than Zen Sports. So what are you waiting for? Get going and download their app at zensports.com today. Zen Sports, betting just got better. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-889-9789. Terms and conditions apply. Must be 21 and older and in Tennessee to bet.
Smiles. These are the healthy smiles of real Delta Dental members. Folks with access to the nation's largest network of dentists and low-deductible plans with 100% preventive care coverage, all backed by over 65 years of expertise. Go online or give us a call to learn about affordable individual plans that meet your needs. 1-855-844-0445.
This holiday season, the largest lantern festival in the country returns to Nashville Zoo. Witness more than 1,000 handcrafted Chinese lanterns featuring brand new designs, including towering mythical beasts, a life-sized Santa's workshop, and a 100-foot-long dragon. Welcome back to Zoolumination at Nashville Zoo. Bigger, brighter, and better than ever.
Hey, welcome back in Main Street Sports today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint, coming to you live from the Lee Company studios in our humble abode today. That's right. As we are dealing with the old snowman outside. It's Snowmageddon here in Middle
Snowmageddon.
Tennessee. And so
Snow
we're at
MG.
home. Yes. Yeah, we're at home and happy to be here. As you can see, some of us are manifesting warmer thoughts. And so looking forward to continuing this fantastic Monday show that we have put together, man. I can't say enough about the folks that we have come on this show and lend their expertise to us, and we certainly appreciate it. And no shortage of expertise with our next guest from Last Word on College Football. Tony SIRACUSA joins us. Tony, what's up, man?
Hey guys, how you doing? I love the shirt, Chris. I when I see that shirt, I don't think Snowmageddon. So I like that. You're kind of sending warm vibes across the airwaves.
I don't think it's the airwaves that he's concerned with, Tony.
it's my house.
I feel you.
Yeah. Hey, things in Tallahassee are getting interesting, huh?
It is chaos down there for the past 2 months now. I mean, first we had the playoff committee and the injuries and the snub from the playoff committee and the suing the ACC to get out of the grant of rights. And now you have Florida State being hit by the NCAA with what frankly are pretty significant penalties for an NIL violation. And what makes this jump to the top is this is the first time the NCAA has gone after a school for this particular violation. Really what we're looking at is Florida State was found to have had the offensive coordinator, Alex Atkins, was alleged to have driven a prospect, so someone that Florida State didn't even have locked in yet, a prospect and his parents to a meeting with the head of the school's NIL collective, a group called Rising Spear. That in and of itself is an NCAA violation. There is supposed to be a brick wall between the school and the collective. They are not allowed to act in concert with each other. But now you have not just a staffer, but the offensive coordinator making the introduction, bringing the kid and his parents to this meeting. The booster from the collective, who went unnamed in the report, allegedly encouraged the kid to sign on to Florida State. There would be money there for him. I think the NCAA allegation said about $15,000 a month for however long he stayed at Florida State. Now, that is a penalty. There's a little bit of gray area there. I got to be honest with you, because everybody ignores the NCAA rules when it comes to the collectives and NIL. And what wound up happening, which encouraged everybody to ignore the NCAA, was all of the states went off on their own with legislation. I think we now have 32 states which have their own legislation which govern the schools within those states as to what they can and cannot do. Most of the states have clear writing in the legislation that money from the collective may not be used to induce someone to go to school there at any of those public universities. There have been violations, and the state clearly isn't going to do anything to punish one of their own schools. It's not in their best interest to do so. The NCAA, the NCAA has been neutered by constant lawsuits, frankly. Anytime they try and do anything, they're dragged into court. What was it, about 2 months ago? They tried to narrow the transfer portal again, and within 72 hours, some basketball players in West Virginia had them in federal court. So this is this is really kind of, I hate to use the word landmark. It's not that big, but it's a big deal in the sense of this is the first time the NCAA has really gone after a school. And it just so happens that it's Florida State, which has issues with the NCAA, issues with ESPN, issues with the playoff committee, issues with just about everybody. And so, honestly, the folks in Tallahassee are feeling pretty picked on right now.
Just
Well,
because
for
they're
good reason.
Just because they're paranoid doesn't mean they're not out to get them.
Exactly,
You know?
exactly. I was thinking of Chris because last time I was on, we ran a couple of good conspiracy theories out there, and I know Chris doesn't shy away from conspiracy theories, and I'm like, wow, Florida State, they went after them. And what was it last week for about maybe an hour or two, Mike Norvell's name was being thrown into the Alabama coaching search. And I actually was thinking of you, Chris, because I was thinking, if that happens, we're going to have to send FEMA down to Tallahassee to make sure everybody's okay. And I got to be honest with you, at this point with the NCAA sanctions, I got to be honest with you, man, I'm surprised there is any aluminum foil left anywhere on the shelves at any of the stores there, because there's a lot of tin foil hats being made, and I'm surprised there's any Reynolds wrap left down there in Tallahassee right now.
Tony, when you look at these sanctions that have been handed down to Florida State, I mean, do you feel like it changes how anybody else does business?
It should.
Or do people just think, well, that's Florida State. The NCAA was looking for a reason to get them anyway. We're good.
You know what, Mo? I think there's a little bit of both. I think Florida State was the low-hanging fruit because there was so much cooperation from the athlete in this particular investigation. The prospect and his parents basically, came forth with everything that happened. And I think that's part of the reason why the NCAA went so large scale in the penalties. They are significant. 2 years probation, a scholarship reduction of 5% over the 2 years. They're not allowed as many official recruiting visits. There's an extra dark period now in the recruiting that is handed out specifically to Florida State, in addition to what other schools have to do. And the collective the school and the collective have been officially banned from doing anything with each other. The school cannot promote the collective. That's a gray area for a lot of schools. I've seen coaches at some schools wearing T-shirts with the collective name on it. They won't come out and outwardly promote it because that probably crosses the line, but they don't mind wearing the T-shirt on camera for interviews. There is to be no communication between the two sides now. The collective can still work with the athletes individually, but the school cannot help raise money for the collective, and vice versa. I feel certain in saying there is going to be a significant monitoring of this, probably because it's Florida State and they made it far too easy. Now, are there schools, to your other point, Mo, are there schools that are going to be brazen enough to say, I'm not going to worry about it. Florida State screwed up and that's on them? Yeah, sure, there are. Do I think the NCAA is going to continue to go after some of these schools? I do. They got one. There are more that are probably just as easy as this.
But no, it was easy though.
It was.
That's the thing. I mean, we got to point that out, that like you said, it was low hanging fruit. This was easy to do because nobody really, until now, nobody really knew what the black and white areas were. Everybody was working in the gray. Well, now we have a black and white.
And so because it was easy, is that why the NCAA was able to do this? Because it was easy? Because
Florida State didn't even fight it.
Yeah, I think Chris is right. One, Florida State didn't challenge this. They knew they were caught. And you know what? I think they have enough other issues, going on, that they're like, we're gonna swallow this and move on. But I think, as much as we have this vision as media members of the NCAA as this Goliath, grotesque entity, and they are, because of the billions of dollars they pull in, the one department which is seriously understaffed and underfunded is investigations. As of 2 years ago, they had a grand total of 18 investigators for the entire country. And they usually use 2, 3, even 4 of them per investigation. So that's one, why they take so long, and 2, why they are quite often unsuccessful in coming to formative conclusions. So I think the ease of doing this helped the NCAA. I think that the NCAA is hoping that it's a warning shot across the bow of other schools. But, so do I expect another dozen to be hit, within the next year? No. Do I expect another couple? Probably by summer? Yeah, I do. I do. There are some out there that really are, and we know, and you guys probably know about some of them, and last word, we know of some of them that are pretty blatant. And in terms of crossing the line of what the collective and the university can do together. This also, I got to be honest with you, I think that there is another, if we're going to connect dots, and Chris, I like connecting dots. This really goes to what Charlie Baker is trying to propose as the new president. He's not such a new president anymore, but tying the NIL to the universities. Let the universities handle the NIL. Let them handle the money. Let them create the trust, literally a financial trust, so that they're the ones collecting the money and it goes in this fund that they can't use for anything else, allegedly. And that will be the NIL fund for the players, because what does that do? It gets rid of the collectives. And there's no need for the collectives anymore if the universities can gather and allocate that money on their own. I got to be honest with you, and I'm sure I've said it to you guys. I've been saying it so much people are tired of it. And no offense to anyone in your audience who's part of a collective, I can't stand the collectives. I can't stand them. When Ed O'Bannon spent all those years in court and went to the Supreme Court, this is not what he envisioned NIL to be. It was the player has a relationship with a sponsor, an advertiser, a marketer, probably in the local community. There are services provided. Maybe he does commercials. Maybe he goes to, does a meet and greet, whatever the case may be. And he gets paid money directly. The collectives, and I get people pushing back at me every time, and I don't care. The collectives are legalized money laundering. They just gather money. It's non-directed revenue, because when you give money to a collective, you're not saying, I want it to go to this basketball player or I want it to go to the running back. You're just donating, and they decide who gets what based on whatever their parameters are. It's not the way NIL was supposed to be. So these NCAA sanctions really kind of go to boost Charlie Baker's motivation long-term also.
NIL and the transfer portal, I feel like, have both gotten corrupted from where they were supposed to be, what the intended purpose was when they came online, to where they've gotten to. And I've been saying it for a year and a half. I mean, I'm all for the players getting paid, and I'm all for the freedom of movement, but there's got to be a happy medium between where we were and where we are.
I agree with that. Part of the challenge is that while they were never intended to work together, the portal and NIL, because they became legalized within 3-4 weeks of each other, they are inherently tied together. That was never the intention for either of them, but they are now inherently and forever tied together. And again, we talked about the portal. The coaches wanted the change in the portal. Coaches nationwide, for roster management purposes, wanted to go back to, you get the one free transfer. After that, you've got to sit out a year. And the NCAA said, all right, we hear you, coaches. That's what we're going to do. And when within weeks of trying to do it, in the fall, they got taken to federal court, and a federal judge said, you can't do that. And the reason he said you can't do that is because if you make a player sit out, what does it do? It inhibits their ability to make NIL money. And so, again, two initiatives that in their purest form, I agree with you, Mo, in their purest form were correct. They were right. The way they are now bears no resemblance to what they were designed to do.
And there's no going back. There's no
Yeah.
there's no bottle to put that genie in. Even I mean, they threw the bottle out.
They really did.
And
they really
and,
did.
You know, the next step, Tony and Mo, who was it that told us this? That eligibility requirements and eligibility limits may be the next step, because
I think it was David Ubben that we were having that conversation.
Oh yeah, David and I have had that conversation before. Also,
it's over. I mean,
you've got at least 2 quarterbacks coming back for a 7th year in 24.
It's amazing, isn't it?
And
one of the things that will change that organically is when we're finally able to put the COVID exemption year behind us, when we're no longer dealing with players who are around in 2020. That strikes 1 year out. But you're right. It's because you've got guys who are, who had their redshirt year, their COVID year, and then they got an injury waiver, a medical exemption, and they're in their 7th year. And it's, the ironic thing is that they get to still go be college athletes, and good for them. And maybe they're making NIL money, and good for them. They are really at that point eliminating their draft value for the NFL, because no one's really interested in a 26-year-old rookie. You've got a lesser shelf life, and you're old going into rookie camp at that point. So it's a strange conundrum. We're at a crossroads. I tend to think this is probably about another 2, maybe 3 years before there's a lot of other changes, a lot of corrections. I was on a conference call last week with Kalen DeBoer, having nothing to do with him taking the Bama job. It was all the finalists for the Bear Bryant Award for Coach of the Year.
That's ironic.
It is, isn't it? And part of what we were talking about was all these changes have had unintended consequences, like what we've been talking about. And he said, and so there needs to be a constant motion, with the commissioners and the coaches and the administrators to regularly smooth things out, and not wait for these monumental decisions, but for it to be a constant in everyone's mind. I agree with that, except a lot of these changes will require people to give up their power, right? When we talk about college football pulling away from the NCAA, which a lot of people endorse, and I see the reasons for it, but there's going to be one person running college football then. And who's gonna tell Greg Sankey it's not you? You know what I'm saying? The conference commissioners are going to have to give up their own power, which is how they exist, is with this authority, and they're all going to lose it. These changes are not going to be easy. There are going to be more. There needs to be more. I don't have a lot of faith in, even though I think we're now up to 8 or 9 draft legislations in the United States House of Representatives and in the Senate, but those take years to get through. Even if any of them have legitimate legs, they take years to get through. So, we're at a place where everyone's looking for answers, and in the meanwhile, you got places trying to, drive a Brinks truck through a small wedge.
There are plenty of those places, I can guarantee you. One of them is Oxford, Mississippi, and and I don't think there's any question about that. But
I don't think so either.
Tony SIRACUSA with last word on sports, last word on CFB. Make sure to go follow him at Tony Bruin. And Tony, as always, man, good to talk to you. Always good stuff. Never fails to be entertaining for sure.
All right, guys. Glad to see you, and be safe over there. All right.
Thanks.
We're not
Tony,
going
we
anywhere.
Appreciate it. Yeah, we're staying in.
All right.
All right. Let's take a break. When we come back, NFL playoffs. We'll chat about that in just a moment. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
With Lee Company technology, the best handymen are hands-off. Lee Company techs have been using visual findings and other smart technology tools for years to add transparency and virtually take customers along. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on a roof. With Lee Company, technology helps us help you, no matter what's happening in the world or at your house.
Jones & Lang Sporting Goods here in Columbia has been outfitting teams, officials, and anybody else from T-ball to college for 50-plus years. Be sure and check them out at 931-388-8060 or online at jonesandlang.com. Jones & Lang Sporting Goods, the look of a winner.
Zion Christian Academy, zioneagles.org or 931-388-5731. You can schedule your appointment. Go tour their campus. It is beautiful over there, and you're definitely going to want to see it. Again, it's zioneagles.org. Give them a call, 931-388-5731, and schedule your tour today. Custom Stone Handlers supplies over 600 distributors and suppliers with quality stone products. Along with River Stone, we produce and distribute over 100 building, landscape, and other bulk products. Our goal is to provide quality products, service, and partnerships to ensure our customers' success. We firmly believe that the measure of any person or company is how they treat other people and customers. Give them a call at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com.
A game without a crowd is just a scrimmage. A performance without an audience is just a rehearsal. Without your presence, high school sports and the performing arts aren't possible. Ensure that these essential extracurricular activities continue to enrich the lives of students in Tennessee. Purchase a ticket to your local high school's game or performance.
This message presented by the TSSAA.
Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic service, and our Ortho Quick Walk-In Clinic lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Welcome back in Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, and we are live from the Lee Company studios in our humble abodes today. It's always fun. NFL's Super Wild Card weekend-ish. It continues as Buffalo and Pittsburgh are about to kick off.
Have
kicked off. Okay, well, I'm in a commercial break, so I hadn't seen it. So
yes, they have kicked off. They're about 3 minutes in, I think.
Well, there you go. So
no score.
Yeah, there you go. Let's talk a little bit about, however, the other 4 games that did take place. We've talked briefly about those, but how surprised are we, and we know Justin is, that Houston just manhandled Cleveland? I did not see that coming offensively for Houston. I mean, I thought Jim Schwartz was going to do a good job. I thought Joe Flacco would be a solid, ball control type offense. I'm just shocked that we ended up where we ended up.
I would not have expected 45-14 under any circumstances.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not surprised that Houston won. In fact, somebody's 4-0 on their picks right now.
That's solid.
Yeah, but no, hats
it's
off.
It's a good thing you went with your home life gut.
Much needed. Yeah, so. I look a lot smarter after that one. But I mean, like I said, 31 points, 4 touchdowns. No, anybody that says they saw that coming is lying.
Yeah. So. That night, Chiefs, Dolphins, again.
Did y'all see the picture of Mahomes' helmet? I know you did.
I did, because I actually saw the girl who took it quote tweet someone who posted it and credited her with the picture and said, and she said, it's me. Hi, I'm Emily. It's me, because Taylor Swift, it's me. I'm the problem. Anyway, it's Taylor Swift lyric. And so a phenomenal photo, because it just shows how insane that was. Now, my question about that is, one, and Justin, feel free to, there it is. Emily Curiel of the Kansas City Star with the photo. Is this a positive? I know that sounds positive. The fact that the helmet broke away. Like, I know that sounds crazy, but like, when you take a shot like that, the helmet breaking almost feels like it absorbed the hit better.
Yeah, I mean, it's better that it was the helmet than Mahomes' head.
Right.
But I think the bigger concern, though, is if you are playing in conditions that bring that about, should you be playing?
Yeah, I mean, he had his helmet warming on the sideline, so was it condition oriented? I don't know. I did actually see a guy who is a sales rep for that helmet company on TikTok. I didn't watch this video though, but he was talking about it and how the company works. I just didn't watch the video because I didn't have 3 minutes to spare on whatever he had to say.
TLDR, huh?
Yeah, I needed the TLDR and just didn't. Yeah, we didn't get one.
Too long didn't listen. Yeah.
Yeah. So that being said, that's Mahomes' fault, by the way. He lowered his head into Elliott. And I am curious if he will be fined, as running backs have been fined this year for lowering their head into contact.
I mean, that's an interesting secondary topic, I think. Secondary being the key.
But just a thought.
Just because, I mean, if it's cold enough for the equipment to not work properly, then it's too cold to play.
I would agree, especially.
And now I don't know what you do about it.
Well, especially when you had the noon slot open, though. You had noon Sunday open.
And or Saturday.
No, noon Sunday.
Oh, to push it back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You could have pushed it into the Bill Steeler slot.
The Bill Steeler.
And played it on Peacock and been done.
Yeah, you knew they weren't giving up primetime Saturday.
But Sunday noon is when I'm most likely to watch the NFL. Seriously, I mean, primetime Saturday is probably the least likely time anybody's watching the NFL, because they're going out to whatever.
And then on top of it, you put it on streaming only.
Yeah, which again, most streamed event in streaming history, but still around 3 million fewer viewers than the Saturday afternoon game. But again,
glass half full,
Saturday,
glass half empty, right? I mean,
I think the time was the worst part of it.
You think it was the time, not the Peacock?
Well, I think I think Peacock is part of it, but I mean, Saturday night, I'm going out to dinner. I'm doing a lot of things that are not watching the NFL if I'm just a regular fan. Now, obviously, Chiefs and Dolphins fans are at the house watching it, but the regular guy, I got other things to do. I'm going to karaoke at the bar or something. And it's going to be on, more than likely.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean,
on Peacock?
So, like, let's say Fozzie's restaurant. They have Peacock. So, I mean, yeah, you can get it at the bars and stuff. So I just think it was just a poor decision all the way around. You had an opportunity to put it midday the next day, and you would have been better off.
It's interesting.
Just a
But
bad
that's-
decision from everybody involved.
So when at what juncture of the game did that take place? Because he did not wear that helmet the rest of the game, did he?
No, he got a new helmet immediately. They
Okay.
and did not have to come off the field for a play or take a timeout with an equipment malfunction, which was a big deal for a lot of folks.
Well, I mean, that's as malfunctions go. It's a tough one to beat.
So there's that. Not surprised though by the outcome. I said, I think the only team with a winning record the Dolphins beat this year were the Packers, maybe, or the Cowboys. I can't remember. It's one of the two. One of those two teams.
They beat the Cowboys.
Okay, well there you go. Not all records are created equally, Mo.
Well, and one of their and at least one of the teams that they lost to fired their coach.
so I mean, and it's the Chiefs. This is Mahomes' season, right?
This is Mahomes' season for everything that you've seen out of Kansas City all year. Now, I mean,
this is Mahomes' season.
Can they continue this for another 1, 2, 3 weeks? I don't know, but they did it Saturday night.
Well, one of the teams they beat might fire their coach after last night. Mo. Mike McCarthy. Does he survive this? I don't think he does. I mean, Jerry Jones turned around after that pick six and was saying something, and I know he was mad.
You think he said fire everybody?
Probably. I'm surprised that Mike McCarthy made it out of the locker room at halftime.
I think I read that the Dallas Cowboys are the first team to win 12 games or more 3 years in a row and not make their conference championship game in any of those 3 seasons.
It's unreal. Well,
I mean,
I had high
if
hopes
that ain't
for
coaching, if that ain't coaching, I don't know what is.
Here's the good thing. I don't have to feel obligated to pick them anymore. They can only beat me once. So
somebody told me to tell you your team sucked at some point last night. I didn't think it was your team, but I did know that you picked them. And so.
I mean, I picked them.
Oh, they were your Super Bowl pick. That's
my Super Bowl pick.
Oh, ew, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah,
and so I had to go with them as long as they were in.
Well, they're no longer in.
Don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's good. I'll take that. And then, last night, how surprised were you that Matthew Stafford was booed?
I was shocked.
Upon introduction.
I did not see that coming at all. I think I tweeted something to that effect. I didn't realize, I didn't know Detroit and Stafford had beef like that.
They didn't. I didn't think.
Now, I think I heard earlier in the week that they banned Stafford jerseys.
Yeah, I had said that on the show. I read that on Twitter somewhere.
Which I thought I was kind of shocked by that.
That doesn't make sense. They're Lions jerseys. Who cares what number's on them?
Or what name's on them? I mean, I didn't realize, like I said, I didn't realize there was beef between the Lions and Stafford. I mean, he did as much as he was able to do there, and he moved on, and clearly they've moved on. So,
well, I think as far as trades go, that may be the most even trade in the history of trades. The Rams won a Super Bowl, and the Lions now have won a playoff game for the first time since 1992.
Yeah,
I mean that's about as even a trade as you can make for those two teams.
And I just don't know. For everything that Stafford went through in Detroit, I don't know that he deserved that.
Absolutely not. Upon introduction, you give him his due. You give him an applause. You give him a thank you. We appreciate it.
I
When
mean,
the ball kicks
been,
off, he sucks and he's the worst player ever, and kill him, every day.
We've been down this road, twice in the last couple of years. I mean, the Braves didn't boo either Freeman or Swanson. And
you give them that. You
probably
give them
had more, and they probably deserved it more than Stafford did.
Right? They chose to leave.
Right?
Stafford left by trade, which I mean, I know. I think it.
I know he wanted it, but still,
everybody wanted it. I mean, everybody needed a mix up in that situation, but those guys chose to leave, and Braves fans applauded, as they should have.
Right.
So anyway, I was shocked.
I was stunned. I really was.
Did you hear him in the post game? They asked him if he was happy for the city to get the the playoff win, and he said, "I'm happy for the players." And you can't be mad at him for saying that.
A little shade from number 9.
Well, and they brought it on themselves.
So I mean, was that he wasn't happy for the front office, or that he wasn't happy for the fans? I wonder who he was leaving out of his happiness.
Yeah. Who was he least happy for? I don't know. It had to be the fans are part of it after booing, and that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Anyway, Detroit fans, that was trash.
That was trash. I mean, and I'm trying to be happy.
Or trash can juice.
And I'm trying to be happy for everybody in that organization. Yeah, fans on down.
Including the guy who's been a season ticket holder for
66 years.
66 years. Clearly,
who was there for the 1957 championship game.
Yep. He bought season tickets and they never went back. So maybe that guy should probably stop buying season tickets.
Maybe he should have his season tickets taken.
Revoked.
Yeah.
Sir, your tickets have been revoked. We're trying to win again.
You are out.
You have to watch this at the house. I'm sorry, sir.
Yep.
Oh man. I saw a quote from someone, and I want to throw this out there.
Mm-hmm.
Dan Campbell is who we thought Mike Vrabel was going to be. Dan Campbell has a lot better roster than Mike Vrabel had at any point.
At any point.
I do think they are very similar coaches, though.
I'm sorry. Mike Vrabel has never said anything about biting ankles or biting kneecaps or whatever.
He did say he was going to cut. He would cut it off for a Super Bowl, so it's pretty close.
I'm just not ready to portray Mike Vrabel negatively.
No, but people have this. What have you done for me lately? Dan Campbell's not been to the.
He won a playoff game as the number 2 seed.
Come on.
I'm sorry, number 3 seed. Excuse me.
But still,
he won a game he was supposed to win.
Calm down. Right, calm down. So, didn't go to New England and beat Tom Brady in his final game as a Patriot.
Hello.
Let's calm down.
So.
Anyway, couple things. Anything else on the NFL that you want to get into?
Not that I can think of.
Couple
Other than
things.
Buffalo's up 7-0.
Yeah, I did see that. Let's do this real quick. Memphis Grizzlies cannot catch a break, Mo.
No.
Desmond Bain now out for 6 weeks. At this point, you just gotta mail it in and hope that you get the number 1 pick, right?
Yeah, I mean, you gotta. What's the team that's playing down in DeSoto County? The G League team.
The Hustle.
Yeah, just bring them all up. Wrap everybody else in bubble wrap and get them ready for next year.
Sign Lofton again. Just let them all. Just let the Hustle play.
Good Lord, that is brutal.
Who do you pick if you get the choice
Mhm.
And the number 1 overall pick, do you take Hunter Dickinson or Zach Edey? It's got to be Dickinson, right?
I think so. I think from a physical standpoint, Zach Edey reminds me a little too much of Chet Holmgren. I mean, I think Hunter Dickinson is a NBA ready body more so than Edey is. That's just
I
me.
agree. I agree with you. I agree with you.
I think Dickinson is a little bit ready to take the pounding for 82 games and actually get down on the block and be a post player. I'm not sure what Edey is necessarily in the NBA with full
He is a less physical Yao Ming.
A less physical Yao Ming. That's not a compliment.
I think. Well, I mean, I think he has the hook shot. He's got the ability to get around guys and shoot over guys. Kind of like Kareem did, just finding ways to be open just because he's so much taller.
Mm-hmm.
But I think with Dickinson, he can get out on the wing. He can create his own scoring opportunities, whereas Edey
But he can also go bang, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm saying he's far more athletic. So I think you're right. I think Dickinson's the number 1 pick if you get a chance at him. Nick Saban.
Maybe that's what Memphis needs, huh?
Exactly. They need Steven Adams, who's not hurt. Nick Saban, his next job, per Bet Online AG, best odds TV analyst, -250.
What other options are there?
Pop Warner coach, +125. Voiceover actor, +500. Little Debbie ambassador, +900. Pro fisherman, +1400.
Can you imagine Nick Saban as a junior pro coach?
Yes, it would be hilarious.
Oh, not for those kids.
Right. Or my favorite, the Alabama Democratic Party is hoping for politician at +3,300. That's what they are praying for. Oh, man. Anyway. that's a +3,300 odds. Or touring with the Rolling Stones at +5,000.
That's funny.
And finally, +10,000 odds, senior PGA Tour. I think he could actually do that and be semi-successful. Until Tiger shows up.
There we go.
It's been a good show. Been a lot of fun. Let's do it again tomorrow.
Let's do it again tomorrow. Yeah.
Chip Walters will be with us, and we'll have more for you on Main Street Sports Today, presented by Mid Tennessee Bone and Joint. Enjoy the snow, but be safe. If you are going out, make sure to stay safe. Until next time, that's right. We will see you right back here on Main Street Media TV.